Hey, how goes it? My name is Amos, and I wanted to share with you this book haul that I recently picked up at the thrift store. Got all of these books for $1, but here's the thing. I think my luck ran out because you be the judge whether or not I got some bangers. Because it seems like every other time that I go to the thrift store to look at the books, I always walk away with one or two books that are on my to be read list or books that are just really popular. But this time around, I don't know. But with that said, the first one is going to be The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And essentially, this is one of those books that a lot of people like and recommend when you're trying to figure yourself out. And this book is essentially about the four pillars and principles that you should live your life by. And when I opened it up right here, it was actually signed by the author himself. So I think that's pretty cool. But the four pillars, if you're curious at all, number one is to be impeccable with your word. Do what you say you're going to do. Don't lie. Number two, don't take anything personally. Number three, don't make assumptions. And number four, always do your best. Give it your best effort, whatever it is that you do. And I think this is going to be a quick read because when I open it up and look at it, the words are pretty big and there's not much text going on. So I think I'll be able to knock this out in probably like 2 hours or so. But believe it or not, I've never read this book before, and I think it'll be good to read the content and to have it stored into my brain. Before I got into reading books as a serious hobby, I feel like the self-help, personal growth, self-improvement, those type of books were what I usually gravitated towards, when I used to read one book a year, if that. So, The Four Agreements. I think I got lucky with this one. The next one is Ernest Hemingway's For Whom the Bell Tolls. And I've never read Hemingway's books before, but as an American, Hemingway is a household name. And it's weird for me to say I've never read one of his books. I don't even know a single one of his works. By the way, hi, I'm Amos. I'm new to reading. I'm a beginner. Yes, I'm a grown man, but I've never been interested in books until this past summer. So here we are. Knowing that Hemingway is one of those classic cult favorite authors of all time, when I saw this book on the shelf, I was like, I have to get it. And when I looked into it, it's actually about an American that ends up in the middle of the Spanish Civil War. And then that led me down a rabbit hole of finding out like, whoa, I didn't know that Spain had a civil war. So I think this book is going to quench my thirst in terms of meeting my history needs, but also learning and seeing what a classic author's writing should look like. So, For Whom the Bell Tolls. It's not going to be on the top of my to-be-read list. It's going to be somewhere near the bottom. So eventually, I will get to it. Unless, please let me know, is this book, should this be front-loaded? Should it be prioritized? I don't know. The next one is The Eighth Day by Diane Celerini. And I don't know what it is, but when I saw it on the bookshelf, it just called out to me. And I was like, you know what? I'll give it a try. Because the thrift store that I go to, you can fill a grocery bag with as much books as you want and only pay $1. So I was like, you know what? There's no harm done. And when I looked into it, apparently if you are a fan of Percy Jackson books, The Eighth Day is going to be right up your alley. And I don't even know what I just said because I've never read or watched anything related to Percy Jackson. So, and funny enough, The Eighth Day is actually a children's novel. So I think this book will be perfect for someone like me. And when I read the back of the book to figure out what it's about, I think it's kind of captivating. Check this out. When newly orphaned Jax Aubrey awakes to a world without people the day after his 13th birthday, he thinks it's the apocalypse. But then the next day is a regular old Thursday. Has Jax gone crazy? What's going on? So the eighth day apparently is a hidden day in the week that most people are not aware of. And it's a story of adventure, it's a story of mystery, and I'm pretty excited. I think this one is going to be front-loaded because As you can see, there's not that much text on each page, and it seems to be easy to read because it was catered towards children. So I think this is going to be at the top of the to be read list. Next is Mealtime Habits of the Messiah, 40 Encounters with Jesus. These 40 short encounters focus on Jesus as a teacher, on Jesus as a miracle worker, on Jesus' radical spirituality, and on his death and resurrection, seasoning its unique insights with humor. Mealtime Habits of the Messiah both satisfies the hungry soul and piques the reader's appetite for prayer. Seems pretty interesting to me. The next one is The King's Dragon by Kate Elliott, book 1 of The Crown of Stars. Maybe you can relate to me on this. I just saw this book and I was like, you know what? I've got to read it. I don't even know what it's about. But then when I went home and I started to look into it, apparently it's a very underrated fantasy novel. So, awesome. And the next one I hear is devastating, but also so good. And it's The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. And believe it or not, never read this book, but apparently it will rip your soul apart on how tragic the story is going to be. So I think I'm looking forward to this one, but also I'm going in knowing that it's going to be a really sad read. And last but not least is The Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. The name itself, the title, caught my attention. And then I whipped out my phone and I Googled it because I was like, this sounds like a classic novel. And this is what it says online about The Invisible Man. Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison is about a young black man who feels invisible in society because people refuse to see him for who he truly is. As he shares his journey, he deals with racism, identity, and trying to find his place in a world that often ignores or misunderstands him. It's a powerful story about self-discovery and what it means to be seen and heard in a world that can be harsh and unjust. With a synopsis like that, how could you not want to read this book? But anyways, friends and family, that just about wraps up my latest book haul. So you let me know. Do you think my luck ran out, or do you think I got lucky? I don't know what I'm walking into here, but I think some of these books might be hidden gems and end up being one of my most favorite books ever. I don't know. Only time can tell. And until next time, I'll talk to you really soon and stay safe. Peace.